So what is my favorite game I have played in 2024? What's up everybody, welcome back to Englow's Content. My name is Noah and today, this week's video is the topic of video games, more specifically the games I have played this year in 2024. We're setting the mood already. Behind me we got the two OG characters in all of video games, Arthur Morgan and John Marston. If you know, you know, one of the best snapshots I've gotten this year. If you haven't checked out last week's video of what is my next cosplay, go check that video out, the link will be down below. And check out my anime watch list for this year of 2024, where we talked about the animes I have watched, watching, and then what are on my next list in 2025. Whenever I wasn't watching anime, I was playing so many video games. I have countless hours on all of these games I'm about to show you, and this list culminates to stories I have finished in its entirety for the most part, and you'll see a trend in a lot of these games. A lot of them are open world RPG or turn-based with heavy storytelling, and I am so glad I played these games because they honestly healed me. Without further ado, here is my list right here. Take a look at it, absorb all of your favorite games. I know you got a couple on here. I also try to keep them in the order of which I played them in 2024, so here we go. First up is none other than Persona 5 Royal, my first Persona game, my first Atlus game I have ever played in 2024, and it was Persona 5. And by the very end of it, I was blown away. Maruki is one of my favorite Atlus characters, and Persona 5's storytelling and the entire theme I really appreciated. But I will say the first palace, the Kamoshida Palace, it felt so long in my opinion. This tutorial-esque dungeon, I took way too long on it in the beginning of this year, where I had to kind of like take a break and then come back to it, and then I eventually finished the game. But Persona games are very long. I clocked in about over 120 hours at least in Persona 5, but Persona 3 Reload was my personal favorite out of the two, and I did like it better than Persona 5 Royal. I finished this game in about a month, and in that month, it got me through some of the hardest times in my life, and I'm not sugarcoating that. In terms of overall experiences with games on this list, Persona 3 Reload is top 3 in my opinion for the most emotional it has moved me in terms of the storytelling, the cast of characters, the themes that it rides upon. They're very hard-hitting themes, and with a lot of personal and family stuff I was going through, this honestly healed me and made me just feel better just playing this game non-stop. 120 hours I clocked in. I almost platted it. I wasn't able to max out all the social links, but Reload was by far one of my favorites this year, and Atlus, the sound team, Lin and Lotus Juice are some of the best musical artists. I listen to Persona music every single day. These games have genuinely changed me, and I know they have with you as well. Let's take a break from Atlus and go to God of War 2018. I finally played this and finished it in 2024, and I loved it. It was remarkable. It was beautiful. I finally understood the acclaim to why this game was so critically acclaimed. Kratos and Atreus' bond is some of the best interactions I have felt in a video game. It really moves me. A lot of the storytelling, you can relate to your own personal life, even with this whole mythological aspect. Kratos just wants to be better, and I love those themes, and you'll see that with the trend of these games I've played, where the theme of the game is just wanting to be a better person, wanting change, wanting to just be better overall. And the God of War 2018 ending was so beautiful. I was tearing up. I loved it so much. I hopped right into God of War Ragnarok, and that was even better in my opinion. I loved it better. I thought the bosses were fleshed out a lot more. The gameplay was so smooth on the PS5. I did love that you could play as Atreus. A lot of people didn't like those mini storylines, but I do see it with this third God of War. You will be playing as Atreus, and I'm honestly hyped for it. I thought the Odin final boss was a little underwhelming, which is how it was staged out. I thought it could be fleshed out a little bit better, but overall Ragnarok was so fantastic, and I'm so glad I was able to play it. Ghost of Tsushima, Your Honor died on the beach. Jin Sakai, the man that you are. I adore this game, and I wasn't even ready to play it now. I just bought it off of a whim, and it was on a huge discount, the director's cut. I played it on my own, no spoilers, nothing at all. Surprisingly, one of my secret favorite games this year. I thought the samurai and ghost fights were so much fun, the way they are choreographed on the PS5. Jin Sakai, one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite. And Ghost of Yotei, I am so hyped for, so hype, day one pickup. Let's go to the game that's behind me, Red Dead Redemption 2. I started with RDR2 for the first time getting into this story, getting into this fandom. I did not play Red Dead Redemption 1 just yet. So playing as Arthur Morgan in this prequel, beginning this adventure, it's beautiful. At the end of the day, that is the word I do think of this game. I see why it is so well regarded. The chaos is beautiful. The character development and the betrayals are beautiful because what this game gives off and the themes it provides is wanting to be better in the most simplest, humane way possible. Arthur Morgan is as human as you can be. And at the very end, when he's getting sick and you just want to be better, you want to try to be as good as you can for your last days left. This game had an emotional toll on me. And I'm so excited to play Red Dead Redemption 1. But this picture was one of my favorite snapshots I have gotten in all of games all of this year. I put Red Dead 2 up with Persona 3 Reload on how much emotional toll it has provided me in a game. Arthur Morgan, I love you. Black Myth Wukong I got after we went to Anime NYC. I saw the hype all over TikTok. I was not going to get this game. I was influenced to get this by TikTokers, and I got it. I wasn't ready for the level of gameplay it was, you know. People were complaining how hard it was. You know, there was that challenge first off. I'm happy to say I beat the game. I haven't platted it yet, but I have gotten every enemy, every secret enemy, Erlang, the final boss. This was one of my secret favorites. I would play this again. I still have the New Game Plus saved, so whenever I have open free time when I'm not playing a brand new game, I will play the New Game Plus and I'll get through it. And I love Black Myth Wukong. I loved it so much. The fights were a bitch to get through, but it was so worth it in the end. And last but not least, my final game I am completing this year. In the time of making this video, I'm literally on the final boss. I'm about to beat it before the new year, and that is Metaphor ReFantazio. Atlus, you do not disappoint. Again, Metaphor was not something I was gonna get right away. It was a day one pickup because I was playing the prologue demo from my friend recommending it to me. Again, I thought I was playing all the Atlus I wanted to this year. I thought Persona was enough. I wasn't ready for Metaphor, but then after 10 hours of that prologue demo, I was hooked. I got it $70 later. This game deserved to be Game of the Year nominee. And before Metaphor, I had Black Myth Wukong as my Game of the Year. But as I'm finishing Metaphor, I proudly say Metaphor is my personal Game of the Year. I am hitting 102 hours into it, similar to the Persona games. The themes and the cast of characters might be my favorite Atlus has put out. Call it recency bias, but it has deserved all of the accolades Metaphor has been receiving. Fantasy lives on, wanting to be the king, wanting to be the change you want to see in the world. That may sound cliche, but when you have tribes that are divided and separated upon each other, that sounds awfully similar to today's society. Atlus does it so well that you bring those forces together, not just with the power of friendship, but with the power of change and wanting to provide nuanced ways of life and to defeat the bad and to defeat violence and bloodshed. And I just know when I'm finishing Metaphor as we speak, this game would be my Game of the Year. Some honorable mentions of online games I have played is Overwatch 2. I have an ungodly amount of time into this, over 600 hours just this year. Not proud of it, but I do play this a lot when I'm not playing the first player games. I played Helldivers 2 for that little while that it was out. Don't play it anymore. I don't know if I will open it up again, but I did play it. I enjoyed it for the time when it was hyped up and stuff. Marvel Rivals that came out towards the end of this year, I have been playing it and I'm kind of hooked on it. I really like it. I love the gameplay. It's just like Overwatch mixed with Fortnite. Just it's copy and paste, but it's Marvel. I like it. And the last two honorable mentions are games I'm currently playing alongside Metaphor right now. I'm not very far into them, but they will be going into the new year, and that's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Astrobot. I got Astrobot for the holidays, so I've been playing that into the new year, and since The Witcher 4 was announced, I had to get the $8 PlayStation deal for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And those are the games, to my recollection, that I have played this year. Which ones were your favorites? Let me know down below. This week's shirt, we're repping my favorite game franchise of all time, and that is Pokemon Dragonite. from Nintendo New York too. I'm proud of myself for sticking through a lot of these games. These are a lot of games to play in its entirety in 1 year, in my opinion. So I'm glad I'm into this and I'm actually becoming a gamer I want, and I'm actually choosing games I want to enjoy and sharing them with you guys. If you guys enjoyed this week's video, please leave me a like down below. Turn on the notification bell down below because you don't want to miss every week's video. Whenever we're posting an anime content video, we're going to be talking about some video games as well. This channel always revolves around anime and video games. And subscribe for weekly videos regarding that content. I will see you all in the new year.